Hello, today, just so you know, I didn't record anything. I mean, I read through Genesis 27, or I'm sorry, 32, Genesis 32 through 37, but I didn't really record anything. So, what I'm recording is going to be from, or what I'm going to be talking about today is specifically from Genesis 38 through 42. In this, we have Joseph who's sold. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and I probably won't hit everything, but basically Joseph's sold into slavery, and he ends up, being bought. Eventually, he gets bought by this guy named by a Potiphar, and he works really well where the Potiphar doesn't even have to do anything, and eventually his wife is enticed by Joseph and she tries to sleep with him, and Joseph refuses, and finally she tries to tell Potiphar that Joseph tried to rape her, but she screams. So basically, Joseph gets put in prison because of this, and during his time there, he meets basically, he again becomes a blessing to the. This may sound weird, but I mean, he becomes a blessing to the prison guards. That he pretty much makes him to where Joseph, is like, is just able to do just about anything in the prison, I guess, except leave. And eventually, he runs into these two prisoners. One of them was a butler, and one of them was a baker, and they both tell Joseph their dreams. And Joseph reveals the meaning behind their dreams that they have, and it basically is that butler would be restored to the position, and the baker would be killed by the Pharaoh. And then several years go by after that this thing happens with the butler and the baker, and then Pharaoh has two different dreams that he can't interpret, and none of his, elite, and I guess dream interpreters can figure it out. And this is when the butler's like, well, there's this guy named Joseph in the prison who interpreted my dream. Maybe he can help. So he commands Joseph to interpret the dreams. And Joseph basically says the meaning behind the dreams is you're going to have 7 years of plentiful food, and that immediately followed by 7 years of huge famine. So he encourages Pharaoh to, during the 7 years of plentiful harvesting, that we should store up some of the food. So Pharaoh ends up releasing Joseph from prison and pretty much makes him second command of Egypt. And then along comes when the famine's so bad that throughout the world, people start coming to eat. Well, what happens is, during the famine, Egypt has so much food that they decide to start selling it to neighboring countries. And Jacob hears about this and sends Joseph's brothers, who sold him into slavery, to buy some food. And it's a really great story what really happens after that. But eventually Joseph brings his whole family into Egypt with him and basically saves them from the famine. I think it's interesting how when Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, how God did many great things through him. Because of him, his first master's house was so blessed. Then even while he was in prison, God was with him. And then finally, when Pharaoh has his dream, God places Joseph in the second highest position. Of course, there was also a part to have him save his family that had sold him into slavery in the first place, as the famine was that bad that his family is suffering back where they were at. So it's interesting. This family that intended, his brothers who intended something for pure evil by selling him into slavery, if that wouldn't have happened, basically, I have to wonder, would Joseph had, and his whole family have died because the famine, happened, and Egypt wouldn't have known that they needed to save all this food during the 7 years of plentiful harvest. So he proved to be the salvation of his whole family. So anyway, that's what I have today. Tomorrow, I got a little bit more. It looks like tomorrow we'll be going through Genesis 43 through 46. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but next time I do a recording of this. So anyway, take care of yourselves, and God bless you all.